Have you guys seen this crazy movie with Dylan and Cole Sprouse that they did when they were kids?
This is my mom. I met her when I was 5.
Can't say I wanted you. Can't say I didn't do rabbit's tricks to try and get rid of you. You know I'm 23 now. I got your back.
My life was never the same again.
You're gonna have so much fun with me.
No matter what happened, we always had each other. Mom could be crazy, and I wanted to be just like her.
There's something wrong with you, boy.
I was watching this movie one day, scrolling on TV, you know, a young, impressionable kid. And I just remember seeing this movie. The part that shocked me the most was the mother trying to force the little boy to wear makeup, and she was putting lipstick on him, and she was trying to convince him that he was a girl. And that was so shocking, so shocking. And I remember being so mesmerized by this movie, and I forgot the name, but I always knew it was Dylan and Cole Sprouse because they have like faces that you just can't forget. Like they just have like very unique faces, like their eyes, you know. And I especially Dylan Sprouse, like this movie was so traumatic to in general. Like when I was a kid, I was like, this is too much. This is too much. And now as an adult, remembering the film, it's still too much. And I am traumatized for Dylan and Cole Sprouse, and I can't believe that their parents let them play this scene in a movie. And it's so crazy because so many parents in Hollywood, they real life exploit their kids so they can have a child star, so they could be a millionaire, and it works. Like, but this is no different than what those girls' parents did with R. Kelly. Like, this is no different than what Ariel and the other girl, their parents did. They dropped their kid off to R. Kelly, and they told R. Kelly, make him a star, you know. This is no different than it's no different, basically. It's no different. It doesn't matter, white, black. People have exploited their kids to Hollywood.
While traversing extreme peaks and valleys of global fame, hidden medical hospitalizations, artistic milestones,
rapid adultification, and multi-layered abuse I wish on no one, I narrowly survived the toddler to train wreck pipeline.
I remember a couple of months ago, Allison Stoner, and I remember her, she was actually on Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. She made a video talking about how traumatic it was being a child actress, and she was talking about like how little kids, when they're playing those parts, yes, it's acting, but they're still requiring those little kids to feel all those emotions. And that could be really traumatizing. Even if it's pretend, you know, it's still traumatizing for little kids to have to put themselves in that type of emotional state where you're getting abused by your mother. In one scene, the mother dragged Dylan or Cole's hair and pulled him out of the apartment by his hair. And another scene, her boyfriend, who was an abuser, they were having sex on the car, and Dylan was in the car watching it. And some of these scenes, yes, they're pretend, but this stuff is traumatic, you know. I remember being a kid and accidentally, you know, I was alone at my aunt's house, and I remember accidentally being terrified to be alone when I was a little kid. So I played the film, I popped it in the VCR, and what do I see but an adult film? And I didn't know what I was looking at as a kid, and I was like, it was traumatizing, you know. And I just don't think little kids should be playing in those parts. I don't think little kids should be playing in those parts without somebody on set to let them know, hey, this is not something good. Hey, we're gonna get you therapy after this. Because after watching even like the 5-minute clips of this movie, I'm like, this is too much, you know. I wouldn't want my child seeing 5 seconds of this stuff, you know. And back to Alison Stoner. I got off topic, but I remember her saying, like, in her video that she did, and I'll probably drop that in the description box for you guys to check it out, but you probably checked it out already. It has like millions of views, you know. I remember her like saying, like, okay, I remember Alison Stoner saying as a child star, to get in that mind frame for a kid is very, very, sometimes it's very, very traumatic. Basically, just go watch that video and then come back here, because I'm trying to explain it and I don't think I'm doing a good job explaining it. So go watch that video. Okay, but I remember also as well, Megan Fox. She told about a time when she was still a teenager and a director wanted her to play a stripper. She was still a teenager, a director wanted her to go play a stripper, and she had to tell the director, hey, I don't know if I should be doing this. And a lot of those type of stuff happens to child stars on a daily. And then people get confused about why Britney had a meltdown. People get confused about why Lindsay Lohan had a meltdown, why Miley Cyrus had a meltdown. Because some of these things that they're experiencing and some of these things that they have to do is too much. And I remember even Demi Lovato said in one of her interviews, like, imagine being a child and being able to tell your parents, no, you can't ground me. I make the money. I pay the bills. This is my house.
I came into the spotlight at a young age and then was the breadwinner. Like you said, there wasn't a dossier. There wasn't a manual for my parents to read and it say, here's what to do to raise a child star. They didn't get at 17. I would say, I pay the bill.
And I cringe now when I think about that attitude. But it is that when the world is putting you on a pedestal.
After that, it's like you can't really respect your parents as much. You feel like you can do whatever you want to do, and you feel like you're grown, you know. And some of these kids, the parts that they're playing is pretty grown, you know. It's pretty crazy. I remember Jeanette McCurdy when she was a little kid, like she was playing a character of a little girl that got violated. She was getting molested, she was getting pimped out or something. It was an episode on SVU, Law and Order, something like that. And she was playing a little girl that was getting pimped out, getting prostituted by an older high school kid. And to imagine the directors, like what do they say to that child to get them to play that role properly? And if you watch that scene, it was so convincing, so believing. And she's like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. And it's not natural, you know. And a lot of them, they're being told to be somebody else all the time for all these different Hollywood films. And it's like, when you're a kid, you're kind of still trying to grow up. You're kind of still trying to have fun. You're kind of still trying to figure yourself out. And it's like when these child stars grow up, how separated do they feel from themselves? Like, how lost do they feel? Like, my whole life, I've been playing so many different characters. My whole life, I've been getting adultified my whole life. I've been acting like the grown-up. I've been paying the bills for my parents. I can't imagine that state of mind. Like right now, Jeanette McCurdy, she even has a book out talking about, her book is called, one second. I'm Glad My Mom Died. That's how traumatizing she feels that her childhood as an actress was. And she probably feels like her mom basically exploited her out and pimped her out, metaphorically. But I don't know. I would have to read the book to find out. But I mean, as you can see, she's no longer acting. So, and then people like Michael Jackson, like we all know that allegedly he felt like he didn't have a childhood. So when he grew up, he made that Neverland, and he used to have friends that were kids. And basically, we have to honestly ask the question, are child stars in certain contexts, is it moral? And if it is moral, what can we do to make it a better situation so these kids don't end up having mental breakdowns? That's a real question that I'm posing out here. What can we do? Because this stuff, these scenes are crazy. Okay, thank you. Like and subscribe.